They don't hear me though. But they don't hear me though. But they don't hear me though. When I hop on the beat, I'm gonna be something like an oddity prodigy. Oh my god, he be rocking these beats of modern day Socrates. I'm unlocking the lock with no key. I'm not what they thought I would be. No mockery, fucking to see my kinetic curiosities. Twilight zone beside my bone. I'm split. I need like 5 mics on inside my dome. There's no lights on. You get what I mean? I'm bye gone. When I write my song, really wanna bite on like snakes. I say better yet pythons. When I write my wrong, despite how long they never wanna break or be bygones. Mind of a comic, always thinking of new material. Out of the box, the way I kill these beats is serial. Even though the verse is hot and blasting through your stereo. They don't really hear me though. 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 They don't really hear me though.
Yeah, it's time to clock in again, hopping the wave, get to the booth, make draws, start dropping again, stopping, never been no option, cause my competition been flopping again, topping the 10 best rappers coming out of my city, got them all sobbing again, plotting to win, but I got a question, when is hip-hop gonna start hip-hopping again, Haters mobbing again, shocking to see them all start flocking again. I'm gonna get the mic cocked, but I can't let y'all's blood get on my conscience again. I'd rather fuck your girl and after take the bitch shopping again. And she gonna come back knocking again, sopping wet, gotta start mopping again. Guess they never give a fuck unless I'm popping pills, sipping lean. Y'all say anything so you can cop a deal, so it seem. I've been proud of all my shit, I keep it real, being me. But if I gotta really rap, I shoot to kill, R.I.P. And they don't even know. Been giving y'all this heat, you sleeping and it really show. It's time to wake them up with shit that make the speakers blow. But they don't really hear me though.
They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me. They don't really hear me though. 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 They don't really hear me though.
Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting.
Mic in hand, ready for deployment. Podcast feels heavy as the ointment. Veteran tales straight from the trenches. Pop culture splices, pulling down the fences. Homefront sit rap, stories that collide. Veterans speaking truth, no reason to hide. Gritty and raw podcast on replay, decoding the past, paving the way. War zone whispers, bullets and bombs. Back to civilian ticking like a time bomb. Medals on the mantle, scars on the mind. Every episode another mystery to find. Homefront sit rep, voices from the fight. Veterans sharing dark, stepping into light. Real life saga, not some fairy tale. Truth and resilience, never gonna fail. Homefront sit rep, stories that collide. Veterans speaking truth, no reason to hide. Gritty and raw podcast, all replay, decoding the past, paving the way. War zone whispers, bullets and bombs. Back to civilian ticking like a time bomb. Medals on the mantle, scars on the mind. Every episode another mystery to find. Legacy 11X, story of Marines. Army anecdotes, Gulf War scenes. Vietnam echoes, Desert Storm sounds. Podcast chronicles, glory and bounds. Homefront sit rep, honesty is core. Veterans laying bare what they endure. From the front lines to the homebound grief. Episodes of grit, grind through the grief.
Welcome everybody to a Monday edition of Homefront Sitrep. How is everybody doing? Gunny, how are you doing, sir?
Good, man. Just realized I got some stray hairs down there I need to trim up.
Oh, man.
So, whatever. But yeah, it's whatever. Nobody's going to be looking at that. Well, now they will because I said something.
Yeah.
There it is. How many
Get
times?
get those IP scissors out.
Yeah, how many times can you spot the straggling beard throughout this podcast session? No, everything's good here, man. I didn't even get out of pajamas today. I got up, took a shower, threw on pajamas. I didn't have to go anywhere. Don't have to go anywhere tomorrow either. So I'll probably just get up, take a shower, sit around in pajamas again. I already have, stuff to make dinner for the next couple nights, and then team meeting on Saturday, so that'll be the first time I truly have to leave the house.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I love the off season. Yeah, I don't have to do anything, or
Don't
have
have
to
to do
do much.
anything unless you want
Yeah,
to.
I get to hang out with you every Sunday and Monday
Hey, I
at
love it. I love it,
7
brother.
p.m.
I love it. I got up
How's things
this
on your end?
morning. Well, I got up this morning, so at 05, I woke up, went and laid on the couch for a little while because my wife said, "You're keeping me awake." So I went and laid on the couch for a little while. Then I had to get up and be at PT at 09:30. So after the wife and kids left, I got up, got dressed, got in the truck, drove down to Zorn Avenue to the hospital, and got electrocuted. They did the needling and then put the electricity to it. So I'm just sitting there, and it's like a tens machine, and my legs was just
Yeah,
bouncing,
yeah.
which helped loosen up the quad muscles. And then on Wednesday, we're gonna do the hamstring and the calf muscles on Wednesday. I'm super excited about that because I did feel a difference when I left. But other than that, I came home from there, and then I had to pick up my youngest daughter. A friend of hers walked up to the Chinese buffet in town and had lunch, or after school they had lunch after that, and then had to take him home, bring her home. Then I went up and got Grace from work, took her to brought her home, then back to practice for archery, and then came down here, and I get to hang out with one of my good friends and uh, do my therapy and get to talk
Oh,
to
yeah.
another great veteran service organization that's doing uh, amazing work. And this is something that if you've listened to the podcast in the past, this is something
It's
that
it's close to you. I mean, this is
yeah.
something you wanted to do, down in the Louisville area, and started, and there were some roadblocks and stuff, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you're
So
looking
it's
forward to
it's
the day.
super near and dear to my heart is homeless veteranness. We had, unfortunately, in this community, in the United States in general, we have too many veterans that are homeless, and uh, these people are going to where the veterans are. They're not sitting up a table in town square and say, "Hey, if you're homeless, come, we'll help you."
Yeah, yeah.
No, they're actually getting knee deep in the woods, or underneath the underpasses and abandoned houses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're doing it regionally, if I remember, and they have a couple different teams, which we'll talk with the founder Chaz here in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
And
And
uh,
then, for those that missed the show last Monday, we had Tim with Breathworks in Bed, Australian Special Forces guy. He's coming back on at the end of the show for you and I to give an update
on
on
our homework,
our homework of the breaths and the eye realignment and all that good stuff.
yeah, I'm super excited to get Tim back on here too at the end and talk to him a little bit more about breath work in bed, and also the rod and cone eye training that he had us do for the last week, for the last 7 days. Give him a little bit of update. Uh, so
I'll tell you, it didn't help in traffic. I'm just throwing that out there to you right now. Yeah, I went to Carolina and back, and the rage machine came out a couple times. So, yeah, I mean,
uh,
everywhere else was good. I got good sleep, and
nice,
the sight and stuff is a little better, a little different, right? Open my
yeah,
eyes a little bit, but yeah, as far as traffic, it
yeah.
didn't.
This didn't
It
help.
didn't. Yeah, using the elbow, using the thumb, it really didn't matter.
Yeah,
People,
yeah.
people just, I don't know.
People looked at you like, "What are you doing, dude?"
Oh, they need to learn how to drive. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Maybe I need to learn how to drive. I don't know. It's
yeah,
one of the two.
maybe me and you both need to drive, because my wife literally, I forget where we were going, and she was freaking out. And when you got a passenger who's freaking out, it just don't help you none. And then when you try to do the
No, it
breathe,
makes it worse. It makes
oh
it
yeah,
worse.
I had to look at her and like, look, babe, just go to sleep. Just close your eyes, go to sleep,
That's what I
because
tell April.
yeah,
Just go over there and go to sleep. Let me drive the way I want to drive. And then she wakes up. She's like, "You're going 90." I'm like, "You're not the one that pays for the ticket." But at the end of
r-
the day, right? I mean, it's not like we have two separate accounts. So
right, yeah.
it does affect her as well. But
Well, see, I like to drive on the white line. Like, I don't like to hug the center of the lane. I like to hug the white line, and that's my wife's side, so it freaks her out. And every little bump, hit her. She jumps because she can't sleep because she's the type of person that likes to be in control. So she can't sleep. Very good when I'm driving the car. So, but
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
today.
April's usually out before I even hit the highway, and we're I don't know, 10
Nice.
minutes 10 minutes away from the highway, and she's usually out. And then she'll wake up around Louisville and then go back out again. She'll wake up around Nashville and she'll go back out again. If we're going, down 65.
Yeah.
And then she'll wake up around Birmingham and, go out again. And then when we get on the back roads to go to Orange Beach and stuff, she'll, stay awake and just look at houses and, things that she wants to buy or look at on Zillow. And
you won't let her drive though.
Hell no.
So
I want to make it there, man.
No, I hear you. So Julie and I, we split the driving. Like literally, she drove the first 5 hours when we left the house, and then I'm like April. Like I can't. I have to be driving, or if I'm not driving, I'm in the passenger seat and I'm sleeping because I just can't. I can't deal with her driving because literally she'll get up behind a semi truck that's doing 65 mile an hour in a 70 mile an hour zone and just ride behind that semi truck, and I'm like. I start huffing and puffing. She's like,
let that gator skin come off there, and you'll find out why you don't follow too close.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, you just got to go around. And but no, I love her dearly. She's but it's 50-50. She drove 5 hours. I took over driving, and we were 45 minutes from our destination, and she's like, well, I'm gonna take over driving again because you're making me sick. Because we were on the back roads, and I like driving fast on back roads, and of course,
you probably go the same way when you get down Pensacola. You go down like halfway through Alabama and cut off and work your way to Pensacola / Orange Beach that way instead of going down to Mobile and cut over. Yeah. And those roads are 65 through there, and they're kind of swoopy, right? And I like going fast through there.
Yeah, she hates it. So. But yeah, today we have the FSB Initiative. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization that has one simple mission: help homeless veterans off the street and onto their feet, which is something that I'm very passionate about. That's something that I've been working on for a really long time. And the founder, Chaz, we'll let him tell his story. But they've been around since 2017, I believe. Let's see, around 2017. So, and they, like I said, they get into the homeless camps. They don't just go set up somewhere; they actually physically get into the homeless camp. So, without further ado, let's bring Mr. Chaz up to the screen. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Good evening, everybody. Sorry, I'm coming live from the living room.
Well, no, thank you for coming on and hanging out with us. I know we got to do some talking on TikTok, and that's how I got to know your organization and know a little bit about it. And then I started doing my deep dive into your organization, like I do every organization that I bring onto the show, because I want to make sure that the organizations that we bring on the show like to work with other organizations. We also like to know how transparent the organization is. Like if your 990's not posted, somewhere where we can find it. Right. So, we do a deep dive. And what I have seen so far of your organization is you guys are very transparent. You do like working with other organizations. So, yeah, I applaud you for that. If you don't mind, do me a little bit of favor for our watchers, our listeners, and introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Sure. My name is Chaz Kranak. I am the co-founder and president of the FSB Initiative. I am a disabled Army veteran. I was with the 293rd Combat Engineers out of Baumholder, Germany. I went in as a plumber because I wanted to get a skill for when I got out. And they said, no, you're not. So they sent me to NBC school, nuclear biological chemical specialist back in the day. So got to go to that school. And then when I came back, they said, well, you're also going to become the mail orderly because the NBC room is also the mail room. So I had to become, and the mail orderly is also the commander's driver. So I had it great and I had it bad. Let's just put it that way.
Heck yeah.
And again, I loved my time in the military. I got out, started living life, and had a couple children, all daughters. Yay me.
Oh,
Yeah, I have a
yeah,
grandson now. I have a grandson. My oldest daughter, I have a grandson. So, and then, just down the line, just living life, and then life smacked me in the butt. And in 2016, I became homeless. And, didn't know where to turn. Didn't know that there was programs out there. Didn't know that there was a GPD program or an SSVF program until somebody told me about the program called the New Mexico Veterans Integration Center. I was out all the way in New Mexico. I'm from Pennsylvania, lived in Vegas for 15 years. That's what I gave up. I gave up my drugs and alcohol to become a gambling addict.
Awesome.
And it's not hard to do out there either.
It's not hard to do. Yeah.
No. If you have any vices, even if you gave up all your other vices, when you get out there, you'll pick up a vice, and I did.
Yeah,
but I was very good at it for a long time. I mean, we bought our house cash, had cars, had all the toys, and then a thing called variance kicked me in the butt. And my ex-wife didn't help a lot because she was pushing me harder and harder. Go bigger, go bigger, go bigger. You'll get it back. Get back in the swing. We ended up getting enough money to move out of there. We moved to New Mexico temporarily because we wanted out of Vegas, and that's when my life fell apart. And lo and behold, I become homeless, got into an amazing program. The New Mexico Veterans Integration Center is a flagship homeless veterans program out there. The original founder of that program actually went in front of Congress with 4 generals and talked about this.
Oh, dang.
Wow.
Okay.
So, she was very passionate about it. And so I was there, but I wanted to come back east. My family's back here. I wanted to come back closer to my family. And I went to Delaware and got into a program there that was the absolute god-awful worst program on the planet. They were treating us like crap. They basically stuck us in a room and said, hey, you got a year, get yourself right. And I'm like, wait a minute. You guys are supposed to be doing this, 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 and this. And like, well, how do you know that? I'm like, I learned that at the last program. So turning around, I said, I'm going to get this program shut down. I'm going to get out of here and get it shut down. And on December 5th of 2017, I left that program. Okay. And they lost their grant the following year due to the 4 veterans, the 3 other veterans who were working with me to start up a program. Because I said, they got to do better. They have to do better. You can't just stick us in a room and expect us to know what to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
You got to give us some guidance. You have these case managers who are not managing any cases. They're just coming by once a month and saying, hey, sign the form that you were here all month.
Check in the box. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it was. They weren't feeding us correctly. We weren't under the GPD rules. They're supposed to give you 2,500 calories per day.
So what is GPD for those who are listening and watching?
GPD stands for grant per diem. Grant per diem is for single veterans. So if you are a single veteran, you would qualify under the GPD program. Now, caveat. Back originally, the GPD program was set up to anybody who served 181 continuous days of service. So basically, if you made basic training in AIT and then got out for whatever reason, honorable, general under honorable, you can qualify for the program. After Afghanistan, they made it 2 years.
Okay.
So you have to have 2 years of active duty service to qualify. Now, who does that mess over?
The Guard.
Reservists.
Yeah.
So there are ways around it. There are ways around it. I've had to learn them the hard way, but there are ways, congressional waivers or dealing with other programs. And that's why we work with a lot of different programs. Like the one program we take, where as long as they have the 181 continuous days, they're good. They can get in. So grant per diem is for single soldiers. And then the SSVF, which stands for Supportive Services for Veterans Families, would help if there was a husband and wife with children. That's a total different animal when you're dealing with them because they don't put them into a program. They'll put them temporarily up in a motel or hotel while trying to get them stable housing. So the GPD programs, depending on the state, they fall under 6 months to 2-year programs.
Nice. So I don't know how much that you heard at the beginning. So So I'm president of AT&T Veterans, which is a national 501c3, but I'm the president for the state of Kentucky. And I started a veterans community for our veterans committee for our local union. And doing that, I was working with Operation Victory, which they were, finding dilapidated homes and rebuilding them and giving them to homeless veterans. And I was like, well, we need to do a veteran community, a tiny home community for homeless veterans,
Right.
and come up with a 18-month to 2-year program um, that would help the veteran, learn how to cook on a budget, how to bank on, how to balance a checkbook and do all of this and help them get jobs. And it was a beautiful setup, and we had everything ready to go. COVID happened. We lost our funding at the time, which I was told we lost our funding, but some other things happened. But I resigned from the organization that I was with in 2020, and 2 months later they canceled the project, even though all they needed was the funding to do the project.
Right.
And so we had it set up. It was a beautiful. We had the Director Black with Louisville VA. He put a team together that was going to come help, do on-site visits and stuff like that, like with clinical technicians and therapists. And we had doctors that were going to volunteer their time to come do free medical screening and stuff there. We had a barbershop that was going to be on site. It was going to be nice.
Right.
And it was going to be a 2-year program, because here's what I have found in my journey with the homeless veterans is there are 90-day programs, to help, Volunteers of America, the Salvation Army, St. Vincent de Paul. They have 90-day programs that will help veterans, with substance abuse or alcoholism or whatever. But once they get done with that 90-day program, they fall back into that rut because they have nowhere to go. So there's no middle ground for them to keep their mission going forward. So we had worked it out where if you had went through one of these programs, you would come to one of our 29 homes that we had that were going to be on site.
Right.
And we had some that were going to be family that, were ADA compliant, and some that were going to be for families and stuff like that. And it was a beautiful setup. And it just, funding, because we were using shipping containers instead of stick built, which has never been done here in the state of Kentucky. So we couldn't get funding for the shipping containers, but we could get funding for stick built. Which was really weird because your shipping containers would last a lot longer than a stick built will. Which we did wind up securing the funding, but COVID happened, and we could talk offline on what happened with the rest of it.
Right.
But needless to say, when I resigned in 2020, 2 months later, they canceled the project, sold the property back. So as a 501c3, they sold the property back, which they're not supposed to do, because it was donated land. And they made a profit off of it, and just a bunch of other stuff that went on. And so whenever I see an organization that is focused, their main mission is homeless veteranness. Yeah. It just gets me all warm and fuzzy because it's something that I'm very passionate about.
Well, see, a lot of people don't realize that when we go to bed tonight, there's going to be on average 46,000 homeless veterans. Tomorrow morning when we wake up, there's 1.4 million at risk. Now, that's the 2024 numbers. I don't have the 2025 numbers yet. I will have them soon. And when I do, I always post them because, again, numbers do get skewed. But that's nobody in America should be homeless. But no veteran should ever be homeless. And one of the biggest problems that I find, and I've talked to leadership in the military who are still active duty, especially these leaders, I say, you need to let your guys who are getting or who are ETSing out, they need to know about programs that are available. When you're out processing, nobody sits you down and say, hey, if you become homeless, here's what you need to do.
Yeah.
They tell you to go sign up to the VA, yes, but they have to get that stuck in their head. Give them the pamphlets, give them the information that's available to them.
Yeah.
so that they know when they get out, no matter what state they go to, there is a GPD program in every single state. There is one. It's VA funded. This is VA funded homeless program, the GPD. Okay. So they give these grants to these nonprofits. Now, people will ask, why don't I go after one of those grants? There's a very good reason. That is due to the fact that we are, when I say we're a 501c3, we are a true nonprofit. Nobody will get paid now or ever.
Right. You don't have it. You don't have a structured building. You don't have the overhead.
Nope.
You're not paying the board and all that stuff.
Nope.
Yeah.
90 cents of every dollar goes to the mission. We do have overhead. We have the truck. We have, the insurance on the truck. We have the cell phone bill. Then we have a virtual office in Delaware because that was the best place. That's where I was living at the time. That was the place to set it up for future if we ever do have. And like I told people, I tell people this all the time. If some angel investor came to me today with $100 million and said, here, now you can do, guess what? That just means more teams with more gear.
Yeah.
Would we start another program for housing? Possibly. But there's enough programs out there.
Yeah.
If you have the list, and I have the list, and it's taken us years to build this. Again, in 2017, 4 of us were doing it on our own time, on our own dime. People wanted to write out checks to us when I would go out and give speeches. I would give speeches not just on a homeless veteran, but also on almost becoming a 22. And one of my very good friends, John, who is still one of our legacy members, same thing. He was homeless at one point, and he also almost became one of the 22. So when we would go out and give these talks to these communities and get them to wake up, they're like, here, how much do you want? I'm like, I don't want to check. Here's a list of all the items I need. Go buy them. Get your community together, make these bags for us. And if you look back on our Facebook page, you look back in 2019 when we first became a nonprofit. That's when we became a nonprofit. We finally decided, an old high school friend of mine, lifelong friend, said, you need to become a 501c3. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be involved with red tape. I don't want none of that. He's like, look, you're never going to grow unless you do that. So,
and people find it easier to donate if you are a 501c3 or 501. What is the
C19?
C19.
Yeah,
but yeah, they find it easier because they can use it as that tax write-off if you give them the letter.
So now we did that, and we started. It was just the 4 of us, and then they lived 3 of them live in Maryland. I lived in Delaware. So we would meet up and we would cover New Jersey and Delaware. My old CSM, crusty butted CSM, came out with us, can barely walk, but he's out there, helping, you know what I mean? And it became, it's, to me, it's such a passion for me because I've been there. So one of the things that when I go into these homeless communities, I can relate, not only being homeless, but also being in recovery from drugs and in recovery from alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's nothing they can say that's going to shock me or say, I haven't been there and done that. It is what it is. And so our whole goal is to get them to want to get off the street. That's where off the street and onto their feet stands for. You're going to run into some that we go out there and they're not ready, And I always tell them this. I says, oh, you're waiting for your girlfriend to get out of jail, or you got this, or you got that. You haven't hit rock bottom. I said, rock bottom has a basement. I said, you're homeless isn't rock bottom. There's still a little another level you can go to. I said, you haven't been there yet. I said, but once you get there, call me 24/7. This phone, I mean, all my phones are off except this one. I'm telling you guys right now, if this phone rings tonight, I'm answering it because this phone is attached to me 24/7. And like my other board members are like, you want us to take the phone? I'm like, you're not going to answer this 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah,
I will, because that's what we do. I have a rapid team that's ready to go. And I know I heard you earlier when I was backstage talking about our teams. So our local team here, we're, the national chapter. We cover Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey. We have an active team in Ohio. We have a team in Florida, and we have a team in Tennessee. Now, the team in Tennessee is on hiatus. They're trying to rebuild. And right now, the Florida team will not go out and do an outreach because the president had to step down for a job. And one of the requirements to become a team is you have to have a minimum of 3 members, the triangle, and the president has to be a veteran.
Nice.
Has to be a veteran. I have a great VP down there. I have an amazing VP down there, but I can't let her run the team because she does not understand how we talk to each other. She's not going to get the lingo. She's not going to ask the right questions. And it's not that she can't be trained to do it, but we set this up as always be that the president will be a veteran and has to be.
No,
So,
I like that.
right. And we are currently building a team in Ithaca, New York, and we're also building a team in Boston, Massachusetts. Now, the amazing thing about the team in Boston is it's one of the veterans we helped back in 2021. No, he wasn't homeless, but he's paralyzed from the neck down.
Oh,
he's the veteran that we took a chair out to.
Mm.
We would get mobility scooters donated to us. So we turned around, put a call out on TikTok, and due to TikTok, that's where all my other teams came from, by the way, was TikTok. So people don't realize TikTok, yes, there's bad, but there's so much good. And we've done so much good. We've helped over 51 homeless veterans or at-risk veterans on TikTok alone since 2022.
Man.
yeah.
So we took this chair out to him. He was so grateful that he was able to get around his house better, get outside and check his mail. That was the big thing. All he wanted to do was be able to get out of his house and go check the mail. And the fact that it was gravel, he couldn't use his push wheelchair.
Yeah.
So with the power chair, it changed his life. Fast forward to last year, he's now got a fiance, and he has a tank mobility chair.
Nice.
So he said, look, I want to run a team. I want to lead a team up here. And I said, now that you're mobile, then you can do it. Let's work on it. So they're in the training process. I'm very adamant on everybody understanding the way that we've come up with this, that they have to do it exactly this. There's always room to improve on stuff.
Yeah.
But what I do is tried and true. It works. When we go to a home, like I said, I might have 20 volunteers behind me. I see a camp. Everybody stops. Everybody be quiet. I walk up and I ask permission. May I enter your home? Why? That's their home.
Yeah.
You have to treat them. You have to treat all the homeless with the utmost respect.
Yeah, and most of them have a mayor that they answer to anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could tell you on that one. There's in our capital, Harrisburg. But when you go to these camps, everybody knows everybody. And most camps aren't filled with just homeless veterans. You might go to a camp, there's 10 people in there, there's not a veteran.
Yeah.
What do you do? So we used to just say, hey, thank you so much. Here's our card. Well, the one thing we started doing was back in 2022, Subaru Share the Love donated 500 hygiene packets to us. So what we were doing was we were using those hygiene packets to give to the civilians, like, hey, thank you so much. Here's a hygiene packet. Here's some granola. Here's some water. And here's our card. If you come across a homeless veteran, let them know we'll be back out this way in 3 weeks. But if they want to come to us earlier, there's multiple ways to get a hold of us.
Yeah.
So, the civilian homeless are our greatest network because they know the ins and outs of of the camps they're at and every camp around them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of them have cell phones. They charge them at the park, they charge them at the library, they charge them at the laundromat, wherever they can, outside of a Turkey Hill for whatever it takes. And we get calls and we get texts that way. So that's, they're one of our greatest resources. And you were talking about the mayor. Well, if you look back on our Facebook page last year about this time, we used to go to Harrisburg. They had at the time, they had an entire area that was just for homeless. The city allowed them to be there. The city put up 2 porta potties that were come and dumped twice a week. They had a garbage collection day, and they also had running water. What they did was they put a tap on one of the fire hydrants.
Oh, nice.
And then they actually had an electrical box because there was some way in the back that actually had old campers.
Huh.
That they ran. So
Wow.
The mayor had a 2-story homeless building.
Oh, dang.
Had a living room in there, with a TV. He wasn't a veteran, but he was the guy when you went there, he would tell you where everybody was at. He knew each person in every single spot. And he told us where the bad people were. They would send, hey, these guys are no good. We sent them out. That's at this camp. Don't go near it. They're not, they're outside of our perimeter.
Yeah.
So,
heck yeah.
It's funny when you said the mayor because, the guy is known as the mayor. However, they built a homeless veterans program right outside of there. And it was still going up. Now we're going to be making another trip down there in a couple months, only because there's still some pop-ups around there. And even though they know that there's a giant billboard above the building that says, if you're a homeless veteran, come see us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, there's a lot, like you said earlier, there's a lot of veterans that become homeless and then, like I've ran up on this several times. Like when we go talk to these veterans out there, a lot of them like being out on the street because they don't like the structure of normal society.
Right.
So they're not ready to reintegrate themselves back into normal society. So and then you got your veterans out there that they want the handout, they don't want the hand up.
Right.
Then you got your veterans out there that actually want the hand up. And they want out of the situation they're in.
Right.
They want to be in a house, right. and being able to work a normal job and be a productive member of society, however you want to look at that. So when you run up on these veterans in these camps, and you're doing your spiel and you're giving them whatever things that you got that are donated and stuff like that. And you got the veterans that don't want, they don't really want the help. And then you got the veterans that, so how do you deal with each one of those categories? When you run
okay. So when we come across a veteran, first thing we do is we ask them what got them to become homeless. Multiple different reasons, financial, drug, alcohol, whatever it is, again, or just disdain of authority, things like that, don't want the structure. One of the things we still do is we dress them out from head to toe with brand new clothing.
Nice.
So in the wintertime, they get everything from boots to cold weather socks, thermals, Sherpa outerwear, long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodie, jacket, gloves, beanie, hand warmers. We try not to give out sleeping bags. And the reason is I don't want to promote them being able to stay out there because I hate to say this, and it's going to sound like it's almost cruel, but I want them to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because I want them to be like, this is no way for me to live. Let me talk to them and see what they can do. Because not all the time. Now, I'm also an accredited veteran service officer. So I get the best of both worlds. How I became a VSO is a quick story we can get into in a couple minutes. But like some of these guys are out there, they have drug addictions and they're 100% total and permanent. So they're getting $3,900 a month, $3,700 a month. The first, they're good. To the 15th, they're good. By the 16th, they're calling us. They're broke. They're out of money. They can't get any more drugs, and they think they might want to go to rehab. So we make our calls, but I go back out there and I talk to them. Are you sure that you're sure? Because once you go, I'm going to do anything I can to make you stay there. And of course you can't make them stay, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
But, some will just go to get a quick shower, a couple meals in their belly, and then walk out, and it's unfortunate, but I don't give up on them. I still see certain veterans over 2 years now that are not ready to get off the street. So those are the hard ones. The ones that want to get off the street, the first thing we have to find out is, do they have any drug and alcohol issues? Do they have any of that? Because the first thing we got to do is send them through detox or anything like that. Now, with all the programs that are out there, there are two things that disqualify. It doesn't matter if you're a 30-year-old veteran with 4 Purple Hearts. If you have child abuse charges or you have arson charges, none of the programs will take you in. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I understand it, and it's logical. They can't, I have gotten a gentleman who did 10 years for manslaughter. Now he's a truck driver. Now he's doing great. I got him into a program. He was like, no one could ever help me. I'm like, you can get in a program. You're done with your
no one
probation.
took the time to help
Right.
him.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. They're just, you have legal issues. That's why one of the things we're working on right now, as a matter of fact, I'm waiting just for a call in the next week or two, is we're going to go talk to the state prisons and talk to the veterans in prison about what's available for them when they get out. Because there's actually a way that instead of going to a halfway house they can go into a GPD program as long as they don't have those 2 charges and they meet the criteria of 2 years of active duty service.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I was looking on your website. I seen the current Facebook postings. It says, the attention Florida veterans, we're currently looking for a new president for our Florida team. Where's that located? Where's that Florida team located at in Florida?
Well, it's right now they're near Naples, but it doesn't matter where, because my whole goal is to have a team in every state. But some states like Florida, Texas, New York, there are states that need multiple teams.
Right.
Having one team, they can, if they don't mind driving, we do it. We drive 4 hours. That's about the max I can drive with my disabilities that I have. I can't sit in a car for more than 4 hours. I have to get out and completely, if I can carry one of those stretching torture rack machines in the back of my vehicle to stretch me out, I would. I have to drive with a TENS unit. When I ride my motorcycle, I have to use a TENS unit for my hip. My hip will just lock. But, right now it's near Naples, but anywhere, if you live anywhere in Florida and you're looking to become a team president, email me at chaz@fsbinc.org. We're looking to expand. And again, but here's the thing, and this is the most important thing. If you're looking for this, don't email me.
Yeah.
Because it's not about me. We've had people come and go from our own board that were glory hounds. They wanted to be in the spotlight, and it's not about that. I'm in the paper constantly up here. I received the second highest award from the AMVET you can get. I was awarded the Silver Bayonet for our work. That's how I became a VSO. So that's one of, it's not about me. It's, yes, my story is what brought the program about. But you look on our website, you don't see, you see about us. All you'll see is our mission statement. You don't see each board member's bios because it's not about us. People are always like, "Oh, so put your bios up there." More people know. All you have to do is ask, because again, it's not about us. I'm a volunteer. I'm the president, but I'm a volunteer. When I go out there, I just lead the volunteers because I know, I've been there. This is our program,
Yeah, I mean, you lived that life, so you kind of know the ins and outs and things that, like, for me, it took me a little while to figure out, hey, if you're going to go into a homeless camp, you need to ask permission before you go into the homeless camp. And I didn't know about the mayor for the really longest time because it was just a group of us. We would get together. We had a mission barbecue that would donate some sandwiches and stuff like that. We would take sandwiches, socks, coats, you name it. We would take it out to these homeless camps for the veterans, and it's a whole different world. And they do have their own set of rules within the community that they built. So it does take a little while to understand the ins and outs. That way, where you're welcome when you come there. Now, granted, a lot of times we would pull up on the street outside of the camp and people would start coming to the vehicle, and then that's how we got to know people as we were doing what we were doing. And one of the guys was like, well, we should bring TV cameras out when we do this. I'm like, why would you want to bring TV cameras out here? You want to make it about yourself, or do you want to make it about the homeless veterans? And for me, like, we do an Operation Veteran Santa every year, and there's no news media that covers it. Because it's not about us. It's about us helping the veterans. And even when we take pictures for, posting on the Facebook group that we made for it, we don't put the families on. We don't take pictures of the families because it's not it's about all the veterans in the community coming together and helping all these, different families that are in need. And
As you
Well,
can
and
see
you
in our,
don't know how the homeless veterans are going to feel with cameras being there either, because
Right.
they might have friends and family in the area, and it's going to bring shame upon them. It's going to bring shame upon the family,
Yeah.
their service.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many variables when you get
Right.
news in the camera crews or cameras, period, involved.
So what I would do is, for a while on TikTok, because a lot of people they were trying to learn how we were. I literally would take my phone and I had it as we're walking through the woods, as we're walking down the path. But as soon as I came across the camp, the phone went right down.
Yeah.
Or in my pocket. And that's when I would have somebody like Lita used to always be in there, or one of our other team presidents would be in there explaining what we're doing, so they could see it. Because again, because the way we're structured, we're 100% all donation based. Let them see what, we are true boots on the ground.
Right.
So when we'd get them out, we might get a bunch of them out there, out to the trailer, and the civilians I'd have somebody take a picture from the backside. As long as nobody's face was turned, we'll take a back shot. That's it.
Yeah.
Of us handing out gear. But you are not going to take a picture of their face, plain and simple. We had a volunteer who's no longer. I have never banned a volunteer until recently. I had a volunteer who she kept bugging this one guy. He said, just take a picture with one of the other volunteers. It was her boyfriend at the time. Please, 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 just take a picture with him. And he goes, look, I'm displaced from my family right now. I don't want my face put anywhere. I won't put it anywhere. She gets home and put it right on her Facebook page, on her personal Facebook page. And so I told her she was no longer welcome to volunteer ever again, because we're not out there to take advantage of them. Right. They're in a bad position. They're low. We want to build them up. Our goal is to get them off the street and get back into society and feel good about themselves. Because you're right about one thing, Sam, is that when you're a homeless veteran, you don't let people usually know you're a vet. You don't walk around the camp, hey, I'm a vet. I didn't. None of the other veterans I knew did it either. Now, they can usually tell, they'll pick up on mannerisms and stuff like that. That's why the one camp that was along a liver run actually had two veterans at the front. They were the guards. There was only one way in. And they had them. Through them right there. They put them in front.
Posted sentry.
Yeah. So there was always somebody on guard duty. But that's the whole thing. The way you approach them, the way you work with them, and don't use them as a prop. Don't ever use them as a prop. Because when I was in that program in Delaware, I was used as a prop for everything. Why? I was clean cut. I was well spoken. So somebody would donate a box of Bombas socks. Here I am out there standing there with a hold and been told to smile. I was using their flyers. I knew more about the computer than the guy who was showing me, and it took all these pictures, and they were using it for fundraising. And then they'd have me go to their fundraisers and speak about how great the program was. And I just stopped after 3 months. I said, I will never speak on this program ever again. So,
I hate organizations that use veterans as a prop. I'll tell a story of I'm not going to say the organization, but this guy was a Navy veteran during Desert Storm. He was a doc. So he was greenside. And when he got home, he worked as an EMT, but then his PTS and his anxiety took over, and he was home ridden for 10 years. And he found this organization that did equine therapy, and they started using him as a prop for the organization because he was able to leave his house. He was able, he got better. Of course, there was a lot of other factors in there, but they made it seem like the equine therapy is the only thing that helped him. And, they were using him as a prop. And unfortunately, there was a ugly legal battle that just happened with the founder of that organization. And, they had this Navy guy, Doc, testify for the founder, and he was caught lying on the stand. Oh, because they had him lie, because they made him think that the only reason he's alive is because of the organization. And he got up there and lied, and you could tell he didn't want to, but he did it anyway. And when an organization uses a veteran as a pawn, they need to think of the repercussions that's going to happen if something does happen. So like in his situation, he lied. He could have went to jail for lying for them. Now granted, the prosecutor and the investigator knew his story, and they're like, well, we're not going to prosecute him at this time because there was no need in it, because they did catch him on the in the lie on the stand, and they proved that he lied on the stand while he was still on the stand. But if you use a veteran as a pawn, you're definitely doing it for the wrong reasons, because it's not about you, it's not about Sam, it's not about me, it's about the veterans that we help. And if you need recognition because you're out helping veterans, because you want to boost your name or your organization's name, then you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the problem is we've watched other national organizations use wounded veterans, all right, that have the physical attributes of a wounded veteran. And that's how the funds come in. So all these other organizations that started after that, it's just, lessons learned from that organization to get funds to come in. And if you don't have people telling their testimony, a lot of times you're not going to get the funds, because there's people that don't know about your program.
Right. And that's the other thing too. Like we've had, there's a video on our Facebook, on the Facebook page and on the website that it's a 6-minute documentary. It's more about me and my story and how this came about. But one of the guys that I helped, that I'm still in contact with today, and that's the other thing, I stay in contact with the vets we help, because I want to make sure they never slide back. If they do, what can we do to stop it? But Alex is a perfect example. He got on camera. He wanted to get on camera to tell his story and why he felt that we were, our program was what it was. And that's how we, Tim the Saluting Marine gets involved with us. He came up to we also have what's called the Charitable Bike Organization. We're not an MC, we're not an RC, so we don't have to follow the MC Motorcycle Club rules. By being a charitable bike organization, we have women on our board, and all this stuff. So we use our charitable bike organization to bring awareness to what we do. So we go out to all these other rides and runs throughout the state. Who are you guys? What are you guys about? And then they learn, and they want to learn more, and they want to try to help us raise funds. Well, Tim came out to our poker run, our dice run this past year, and saluted off the bikes. There's a video on our Facebook.
I've seen that,
yeah. Unfortunately, it was we've had great weather every year until last year, so we didn't get the amount of bikes until the last stop. And then Tim was there. He was signing his books, taking pictures, and he's coming back this year. He wants to do it again because he just loves what we do. We work with, again, something you said earlier, and I want to swing back on that, was working with other programs. So many programs have reached out to us through TikTok and through other social media and said, hey, how do you do this? Or how are you doing about that? How can we work together? And I'll let me sit down and help you. I've helped other organizations write their bylaws. I'm not illegal. Ours were done by a lawyer. You know what I mean? Ours were done by a lawyer. I just had it in what I wanted to add in about, nobody ever getting paid. And when I say nobody gets paid, if somebody has to use their personal vehicle to transport a veteran across the state, I don't expect them to pay out of their own pocket. You know what I mean?
Right.
We'll reimburse you.
That's a reimbursement. That's not payment for their services.
Right. But you're not going to get paid for your time.
Yeah, you're not a board member.
Right.
You're not a board member getting $80,000 a year because you're out volunteering.
Right.
No.
And that's the biggest thing that I have a knock on. And you hear me you've heard me on TikTok say this. Look, I don't knock nonprofits for the most part. But if you're out there and your CEO is getting $250,000 a year and living in this high life and having an expense account, what could that $250,000 done for the actual damn program?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, how about this? You're a nonprofit. Your monthly expenses stay the same. So like your expenses that go out every month are the same. Your board has 2 paid members. You have $1.5 million in the bank. Who are you helping?
Right.
If your expenses never change.
Right.
Because if you have $1.5 million in the bank and you're supposed to be doing all of this good work, why do you have $1.5 million in the bank? Because why are you not helping more veterans with that $1.5 million in the bank?
Right. But, so one of the things, like, we work with a couple of different organizations, and one of them, the AMVETS, you see that a lot on ours. We just have the Giving Tree that supplies us with a lot of the winter gear. The Giving Tree is an amazing program every year, and we're getting more organizations this coming year that are going to be involved in doing that for us. But for us, like, we've got a 2009 Chevy 1500 with 215,000 miles on it. I'm doing everything I can to keep that thing running, to pull the trailer, because insurance purposes, if I pull with my own vehicle and something happens, then there's an issue. So we have to have a company vehicle. So, I'm doing everything I can to, our mechanic this guy doesn't charge us for labor just because he loves what we do, but he's like, we just got to keep this thing running till you can get, the funding, the finances to get someone to get you a better truck, and when we're going to be getting a 14-foot trailer, and that's like, okay, I'm like, it's in our budget of what we have, but we're going to have to spend that. We're going to try to have a fundraiser for it. There's $6,000. And I'm like, look, we're just going to end up buying it outright. We'll make that up some other way, because we're not having to buy any gear right now. So luckily we have enough winter gear to go the next 3 seasons.
Nice.
Easy.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever thought about having a trailer donated from the company?
We have reached out to so many different organizations, trailer places, and nobody seems to want to do it. I'm even like, look, we don't have to have all our stuff wrapped. You could put your big giant logo on the back of the door. I don't care. And they just don't seem to want to pull the trigger.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them will do it at their cost, but they won't donate it. And and I work with a couple different nonprofits, and we ran into that same issue where, we'll give it to you at cost, but we are not donating it, right? For whatever reason. Well, and we don't go into it, but
I think pre-COVID it was a lot easier. I think after COVID it was we bought our trailer originally during COVID, and they wouldn't even take $1 off the cost of the trailer, because they were going like hotcakes.
Yeah.
They were selling like mad. Now people are turning those 14-footers, they're turning them into homes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So nobody's coming off of them. And it's unfortunate. I've had ones that we'd be willing to donate to us, but it would have taken thousands to repair them, to make them roadworthy. I'm like, we don't have the time.
Right.
With all of us having full-time jobs, and when we can, we don't have the time to do that. So yes, we're going to end up.
The reason I asked, my buddy James Thornton, who's with Warrior Rounds out of Nashville, got a 24-foot trailer donated. So what I was going to do is I was going to reach out to him and see where he got it donated at. And I think the only stipulation is that he had
their logo is
their
on
logo
the nose or on the back or something.
Yeah, I think it was on the nose. It was proudly donated by such and such. Yeah. I can't remember. I remember looking at it, but I can't remember who it was. And
there's an automotive dealership up here that donates heavily to veterans programs, and I got in good with the business manager, and they're talking about doing something later this year for us, vehicle wise, but it won't be in the first, second, or it's going to be later in the year. Right. So because especially if we're going to a 14-footer, a 1500 with a 4.8 in it is not going to pull a fully loaded 1400, 14-footer. So when you need like a 2500, and I said, look, I don't care if and I told the business manager there, because I talk to her all the time. I said, here's the deal: you guys can wrap the entire truck with your company logo. I don't care, because again, it'll get us to continue doing our mission the way we do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the other people are like, oh, I'll pull it with my own personal. I'm like, you're not understanding the ramifications if there's an accident. I can't have that. If we're just moving it from my backyard to somewhere to go do, to do inventory, that's different. But on an outreach or anything like that, because then also if we get a veteran that wants to get off the street and they're willing to go that day, they're going to get into a POV then. And if they get into a POV and something happens, you know,
for sure.
Our lawyer has made sure to go through every inch of it with a fine-tuned comb so we understand what we can and cannot do.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys, if you guys run a raffle, do you guys have to answer to a gaming commission in your state?
In Pennsylvania, yes. However, we have like the AMVETs, the VFW, they all have gaming licenses, and if we do anything, we do it through them.
Okay, got it.
So as long as they're hosting it for us,
right?
You know, it's different. They can do that. Just like with our dice runs. You know, you have to have they have to have a license if you're going to be doing the 50-50s and the baskets and all that stuff. So we fall under whoever. We can go get our own, but we don't have our own standalone building. So why would we? There's no need for us to spend that couple $100. It's not needed to be spent right now.
Yeah.
Right. So if somebody wanted to donate to your organization, what's the best way for them to donate?
They can go right to the website, fsbinc.org. There's actually a spot on there. If you scroll down the page, you'll actually see where you can donate. You can do a monthly donation. If you have Facebook and you have your birthday coming up and you want to have your birthday for us, we are on there. We were also back in the day when Amazon was still doing the Amazon giving. We would get that. Now, Amazon still gives us a check once every 3 months and I'm not knocking, it might be $25, but they took us from, because
they took the main thing off.
Right. Where anybody who would spend, whoever signed up and said, what charity do you want?
Yeah.
We were the charity. We're also now in the Federal Workers Union's giving program, I do believe. We're on the list. We should be going, I think, this year or next year, so that they can put a part of their donation directly to that. And again, on the website, the way it's set up is you can do monthly revolving, and you can pick your amount. And I always tell everybody this, and I'll say this, and I'll say it again: every single dollar counts. If you can only donate $1, people are like, well, $1 is not much. Well, dollar gets us at the Dollar General. It gets us at the Dollar Tree. It gets us almost gets us a toothbrush, or something like now it's $1.25 or whatever. But people are always like, I feel bad, I can only donate. I'm like, don't ever feel bad. Every dollar counts. And
every little bit matters, and it adds up over time.
Right. And I tell them, like, we got away from allowing people to donate their gently used clothing. Now we'll still take, in the wintertime, we'll take the jackets and things like that, because a lot of people were donating stuff that Goodwill won't even take. And we don't have the time to go through it. Now, we used to have a laundromat that would launder sounds like money laundering. We would launder all of our gear for us, and they did it for free. This lady fluffed and folded everything.
Nice.
But it became too much of a hassle. And that again, when we dress out a veteran, we'll dress them out head to toe. And if we don't have their size, like let's say they wear a size 15 boot, I'm taking them right to Tractor Supply and buying them a pair of boots on the spot. That's that's what we do. If they need a 6X, we were out once in Philadelphia. We did an outreach in Philadelphia. Came across a guy who was living in a tent near a bus stop. He would just move around with this thing. He wore a 6X. We didn't have any 6X.
Boy.
So I immediately gave our card to one of my trusted volunteers and said, go to Walmart, find anything they have in 6X, pants, shirts, whatever they got, get it for them. Because you don't know, we're not going to carry a stock of 6Xs because it's it's going to take up a lot of room in the trailer. Otherwise, so we go everywhere from, and we don't carry smalls anymore. Smalls and mediums are most, you don't find there's not a lot of skinnies out there of us.
No.
There are some, and again, if that's the case, if they wear a size that we don't have, we can go. One of our volunteers can just take our card and go get it for us. But for the most part, we carry everything from medium through 3X, 4X, things like that. So, especially in the winter, like I said, it's a lot harder because of the amount of room that we need when you're carrying long johns, thermals, beanies, socks, jackets.
Jackets alone take up a ton of space. Gloves alone take up a lot of space.
Oh yeah, we have 4 The ones you get at Lowe's for $11 with our discount, I think they're like $9.90 something. We have at least 6 of those filled with just gloves alone.
Heck yeah.
So, and then we have other ones for the civilians. Like I said, I'll still give civilians gloves, hats, things like that. I just don't give them the Carhartt. You know what I mean? I don't give them the all the big name brands that somebody might donate to us.
Right.
I don't give them junk. They still get. I still want to make sure.
Well, I mean, and it's your mission is veterans, right?
Right.
So if you start giving to those that are not, now you're not going with your mission.
Your mission, yeah.
Right.
And
it sucks. It sucks to put it that way, but at the end of the day, you got to stay true to your organization and your mission.
Right. At least we still give them something. I'll still give them water. I'll still give them granola. I'll still give them things like that. Because they're helping us find our brothers and sisters out there.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, is there anything that we missed that you want to talk about real quick before we bring Mr. Tim Thomas back up on the screen with us?
Well, yes. And I'll knock this out. If you come across a person who says they are a veteran, don't automatically assume that they are. There are a lot of, I'm not going to call them stolen valor, but there are a lot of fake veterans out there, especially near VA hospitals or anywhere that'll be holding up a sign. You got to know the right questions to ask. One of my favorite is, do you have a DD-216?
Yeah.
If they say yeah, or I don't have it on me, or my MOS was top secret, I can't talk to you about it. Don't ever give them money. You come across a homeless person, even if they say they're a veteran or not, don't hand out money. Yeah. You do not know if they have any type of addiction. If they say, I'm hungry, I'll be right back. Go buy them some food. If they say they're cold, go buy them some gloves and buy it for them and remove the tags.
Yeah, definitely. So, that way they can't take it back. And
I learned that lesson in the beginning when we used to hand out our cold weather bags. Back in 2019 and 20, we'd hand out the bags with the tag still on them.
And
they just go return the stuff and get the cash.
The one store manager. So what she told us to do, she says, if this is stuff you're donating, just do me a favor. Just put a Sharpie mark through the thing. We won't. Then we just decided we're just
through the SKU.
It's easier to remove the tags.
Heck yeah, definitely. You definitely have to be careful when you're out there and you're going to these homeless camps and trying to help homeless veterans, because there's a lot of people. I've ran upon a lot of people saying, "Hey, I'm a veteran," and you start asking questions like, "Oh yeah, where were you stationed at? What was your MOS?" And I never even thought about a DD-216. I've always asked, do you have a copy of your DD-214? And a lot of times they'll say, yeah, it's right here in my pocket or in my wallet.
Right. But see, a lot of people, even civilians, some of them know what a DD-214 is. It's something their family might have served. So you're tripping them up by saying, because you will get some, did you just say 216? What the hell are you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll trip them up. You know what I mean? That's one of the things. And one of the biggest ones that has always been the biggest giveaway is, my MOS was top secret. Or I'm going to tell you right now, I've ran into probably 4,000 Navy SEALs.
Or snipers. Yeah.
Snipers. That's my best one was his nickname is Sniper. I'll tell this story real quick. Told me he was in the Marines, and that he went to basic training, and 2 weeks in, they pulled him out because he was the best shot. And they actually put him out on missions 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
2 weeks in.
2 weeks into boot camp.
Yep. Pulled him right out.
When we don't shoot until week 10? 11? Yeah, week 10.
2 weeks in, he was that good. He was that good that he became a sniper.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not even in boots in week 2 yet.
So I asked him, now you're a Marine. You both are Marines, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm Army, sorry, guys. But
you don't have to apologize for your shortcomings.
You guys know, hey, I had a high enough ASVAB score, so let's not go.
Yeah, just because I'm a Marine, you didn't ask my MOS.
You guys both know what the Wimbledon is, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I asked him about Wimbledon, and he couldn't even figure out. He's like, we don't play tennis, and I'm like, huh, okay. I said, if you were a sniper, you'd know what that is. So after getting called out, I won't help him anymore. I won't help him with anything because he told us his girlfriend was pregnant. We went and bought his girl prenatal vitamins. I said, look, I love your story. I'm still going to give you some food, but he's now an entitled civilian that thinks we're supposed to always give to him.
Yeah.
And we do run into that a lot.
Yeah.
No, man. Welcome back, Tim.
Welcome.
Hey, guys.
That is our logo tattoo. That's how much I believe in this.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, ladies and gents, if you're out there, you're watching, you're listening, and if you want to donate to FSB, the website's scrolling across, and also the link is in chat. We're bringing back Mr. Tim Thomas from
and if you're listening, it's www.ssfsbinc.org.
All right, Marina down. Come on, Marina down for him.
Yeah.
Foxtrot, Sierra, Bravo, India, November, Charlie.org.
There we go. There we go.
Chaz, well done. I was just on there. You made it super easy to donate. It was just click, click, click.
Yep, I have a great tech guy. He only has one job. He is our tech guy. That's all he does.
Everyone needs a geek.
I can't do it. Yeah. I couldn't do it. If I lost him, I'd be saying write the paper check, write the money order out, and put it in the mail.
Yeah.
Do it through snail mail. There you go. Yep. There you go. So, Tim, welcome back, sir. How are you?
Great to see you guys again, and I'm glad I caught the last part of Chaz's share. I love being around motivated individuals who are still on mission, and they've still got skin in the game, and they have a heart for service. Because one thing about guys like Chaz is, you give them 1 cup of energy, they turn that into 100. They're natural multipliers. So even if you're being lazy, do I want to generate 100 cups of energy, or do I just give one thing to Chaz? So that's why I'm like, his website takes money. Let's send some his way. 50 Australian dollars probably gets $2 US, but it's on its way. All right.
Heck yeah.
At least it's not Juan from Squid Games. 43 billion won. It turns out it's like $36,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had Tim on last Monday, and at the end of the show, he showed us some breathing techniques and an eye retraining technique to help do the rods and cones in your eye, because we as veterans, we are retrained that we see threats anytime we're out. That's why we're hyper vigilant. We're very anxious when we're out and about within the crowd. We're always looking for the exit. So he was kind of showing us that a trick, or not a trick, but an exercise to do to realign your rods and cones in your eyes. And he gave Sam and I some homework to do it for 7 days. So the breath work, and then also the retraining of the eye. So he wanted to come back on at the end of this episode and just talk about our homework that we've had. So we'll let Sam go first.
Go, Gunny.
So last Monday night, great night of sleep. Got up first thing in the morning, drove to North Carolina. Had a great night of sleep there all through the week. Came home Thursday, so I've slept great doing the breath work. The resetting of the rods and cones, good, until I get in traffic. And it doesn't matter how many times I try to look at my elbow, it just doesn't work. But no, everything for me wise, everything that you taught us last week, it's just been phenomenal for me.
Great. And so the mission was improving the quality of your sleep, improving the quality of your rest. I don't have to tell you how to perform, but if I can help that sleep state get better, then so in your case, you found that it did help you sleep better and all the way through?
It did. Yeah. I didn't like last Monday night. I didn't even wake up until my alarm clock went off the next morning, which is very rare for me. And then doing the breath work along with 10 hours in a car to North Carolina Tuesday was good. And then Wednesday, being in North Carolina was good. Thursday night, the 10 hours drive back home was good. And then all through the weekend, to now. And then I'll do it again before I jump into bed tonight, and it should be good there too.
No, that's so awesome, Gunny, because what your breath work is going to do for you is especially when you're traveling, it turns any bed you're in into this wonderful rested state. My gateway to this, Chaz, just so you know, wasn't like mystical. I didn't travel to the east. I was just completely fucked on the dirt of Afghanistan, and they teach you how to breathe when you take a sight picture. So I just breathed into my left hand, and I found that the more I breathed, the more I relaxed, the better quality sleep I had, the more energy I had when I woke up. So as time went on, I was getting stronger. I wasn't getting weaker. And just a quick question, Gunny, did you use the app or did you use the techniques we did last week?
Just the techniques that we did last week.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Because that means if you've done it, other people listening to it can access that as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. It means a lot to me to hear you say that, Gunny. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, I'd still be getting shit sleep if it wasn't for you from last week. So yeah, it's greatly appreciated for sure. And there is a package in the mail coming your way.
Sweet. I've sent mine out to you already, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting on getting that. So it's my turn. So I've been doing, the breathing exercises. I haven't used the app. I've been doing what you taught us on the episode. First couple nights, everything went perfect. Like the first couple days. Then I got this little head cold, stopped up nose and stuff, and I still was pushing through. And I sleep with CPAP machine as it is, and I'd go in and lay in bed next to the wife, and after getting done doing the exercises, and put the CPAP on, and one side of my nose would be stopped up, the other side would be free flowing, and my machine would jump up to like 19.7, trying to force air into my nostrils, and my wife would be punching me in my gut. Hey, you need to get up and go in the other room. So I'd get up, and then I'd go in there and I'd do my breathing exercises again before I go back to sleep on the couch. And I will say when I do sleep, it's a sound sleep, which of course I told you I'm an insomniac anyway. I don't like sleeping. But when I did get to go to sleep, it was really, really great sleep. Now retraining the eye, literally, like when I go outside, I could see more vibrant lights, like especially with all the snow and stuff that's here. But I'm like Gunny when I'm in traffic, I just want to just rip somebody's throat out, because they're stupid drivers, literally stupid drivers. So no, I want to thank you for. I'm going to continue doing the breathing, and I'm going to continue doing the eye exercise as well, just to see if it can. Once I get over that threshold of what I think you said 25 days, or I think is what you said 25 days. So I'm going to keep doing it for the whole month, and just see how the quality changes within that month from where I was back then. And I'm hoping I'm at the tail end of this little head code that I have, and can push through. And no, I applaud you, because literally when I do fall asleep, I'm dead asleep. I mean, to the point where my wife actually has to punch me to wake me up. So thank you for that.
Willis, like I said, it means so much to me to hear both of you guys having an impact from something so simple, because it really cost you nothing.
Yeah.
And it's something you can easily show others.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no matter how ridiculous you look doing it, it works.
It works.
And
that power button.
Yeah.
That power button. Yeah.
And then taking that deeper breath and expanding everything, and then blowing it out and letting everything get heavy and fall, and just getting all of it out. And sometimes it comes out the other end, but it's still coming out.
Oh, yeah. And people don't know that they're not breathing properly. So that shallow breathing, that's sending your body into fight or flight. Okay. And I put it to you, gentlemen, you're so used to shallow breathing when you're driving, you've wired your body. Okay, because you're in threat response.
Yeah.
And the reason why, Gunny, if you're walking down the street and you bumped into somebody, you're like, "Oh, sorry, mate." "Oh, sorry, my friend," right? But then when we're in our car, it's like we're sitting on our couch at home, okay, and we've got our friendly dog with us, because this is my space. This is where I retreat no further, motherfuckers, right? So But then when we get in our vehicle, that's like a mobile couch. So as we travel around the place, we have this sense of, well, this is my space. I don't retreat from it, and it's mobile wherever you go, you know. And it's just a little thing that if you're aware of, because that was my thing. When I'm driving, I used to rage a lot. But then I think, well, if I was walking down the street, would I rage at somebody who accidentally did something? Well, no, I wouldn't. But I realized that this is my couch, this is my home, this is my lounge room. And of course, I've got a sense of my own boundaries in my own place because, you know, my home is my castle. But then the car is like this couch on wheels where I'm like, have this sense of desired control. And then that sort of cooks my brain because I've got to control it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think, doing this for that 25 days, and it may help, right? But just doing it that first 2 or 3 days, right, before I traveled, or a night before I traveled, and then a couple of days before I traveled again. And I've not been out. I've not left the house since I got back. Literally, I'm in my pajamas right now, so I don't have to do anything. So I'm not leaving the house, other than getting rid of the 10-15 inches of snow that we ended up getting last week.
Yeah, for sure. But no, Tim, it's been amazing, and I got your website there at the bottom. breathworkinbed.com.au, or you can go to Google and type in breathwork in bed, and it'll pop up there as well. Go check it out. He's got an app that you can download as well. It's called Breathwork in Bed. It will walk you through the steps of everything that he kind of taught us, except for the eye thing. The eye thing's not on there. So if you want to watch that, if you want to learn how to do that, you need to go watch his episode, last Monday's episode. At the end, just watch it there at the end, and you can see the exercise that he showed us to do to realign the rods and cones in your eyes, because we as veterans, we see threat most of the time when we go out. We don't see the beauty anymore, because that's what we're trained to see, is that threat. So when you realign your rods and cones in your eyes, it's supposed to help you see the beauty instead of seeing the threat. So definitely go try it. I'm telling you, you got two guys right here that have done it for the last week, and we're both telling you that it does work, and it's no bullshit. So go try it. Go do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. And it won't cost you anything. You don't hear about this sort of stuff because no one's making money from it. So it's guys like Willis and Gunny that are putting it out there, that are the ones that are going to be making the change.
Yep. Because
I made the mistake of telling a doctor I couldn't sleep. I lost 6 years of my life to pills. They just threw a pharmacy at me.
Yeah.
So it's so important for people to take this on, learn these organic free skills, become a sovereign person, access your own, sovereign resources, and then ideally show it to others.
Yeah. Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, guys, I hate to cut it short, but it's about that time of night, and Reefs Across America Radio says you got to keep it to an hour and a half. So I want to thank both of you. Chaz, I want to thank you for coming on and talking about the FSB initiative. And I'm going to follow you for sure and in your journey, because like I said, it's something that's near and dear to me. In a few years, I'll be moving down to Florida. I think the Odessa area is where we're going. So I'm going to probably link up with your team down there once I get down into Florida, just so I can volunteer, because that's right. With my daughters being 17 and 18, or 17 and 16, but they're getting ready to be 18 and 17. They'll be out of the house, and I'll have a lot of free time, hopefully, to be able to volunteer a little bit more, even though they go with me when I go volunteer at things. Right. And if they're around, they'll go with me down there. But I'm definitely going to link up with the team in Florida and help you continue the mission, because unfortunately, there's too many homeless veterans out there, and we've talked about it, time and time again, and it's just way too many of them out there. And we talk about the 22 a day. One a day is too. For me, one a day is too many.
Yes.
If we can eliminate that number by working together, because that's the only way we're going to eliminate that, is if we work together. So I definitely thank you for coming on and talking about the FSB initiative. And then Tim, thank you for coming back on and hearing mine and Gunny's homework, and helping us get to a point where we can sleep better and we, don't see that perceived threat that we are so accustomed to with doing the realigning of the rods and cones. So that's a godsend. So
absolutely.
Thank you for having me on. One thing I want to say real fast though, don't say I got your 6. Start saying I got your 360, because all these different programs work together. You can cover all. You can't just have someone's back. You got to have their front, their side. And if we all work together, everybody's mission may be different, but we all have the same goal to help our brothers and sisters. So
nice. I do like that 360. I do like that. I do like that. Gunny, this is you. I'm gonna put this on you.
Yep, you're not alone. You still have worth. You still have value. There are people out here that love you. Don't let the dark days win.
Amen. Amen. And then this one's on me. Hashtag be someone stranger. What we mean by that is we as humans, we're more apt to talk to a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. Be somebody's ear. Just let them vent to you. Don't try to fix them. Just be somebody's ear. It could be a 5-minute conversation, could be a friggin' 3-hour conversation. Just be ready for that conversation. Be someone stranger. You have to ask that next hard question. Hey, how are you really doing? Because I can go up to Gunny, I can go up to Tim, I can go up to Chaz and say, hey, how are you guys doing? They're either going to answer, I'm hanging in there, I'm okay, I'm living the dream. That's where you have to ask that next hard question. Hey, how are you really doing? And then you got to be ready for that conversation. You definitely have to be ready for that conversation. So other than that, my friends, I'm not even going to play any of our videos. I want to say we're proud partners of Heroes Media Group, Reese Across America Radio, Veterans Voice Radio, and Military United podcast streams. You can find HomeFront Sitrep on reacheacrossamerica.org/radio on Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern. If you have the TuneIn app, the Audacity app, or iHeartRadio, search the word Wreath, and you can find Reach Across America that way. We are live on Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern. And then, like we always say on HomeFront Sitrep, stay safe out there. We got your 360. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your 6.